I was $47,000 in debt, working 60-hour weeks, and still couldn't afford a vacation. Then I made 7 brutal cuts to my spending. Within 18 months, I had $68,000 in savings and my first rental property. The crazy part? I wasn't making more money. I just stopped bleeding it away on things that were quietly destroying my wealth. And number 4 on this list cost me over $200,000 in potential wealth over 10 years. Let me show you exactly what I quit buying. This is 7 things I quit buying to get rich faster. Let's get into it. Thing number 1, brand new cars. Here's a story that changed everything for me. My neighbor Mark pulled up in a brand new BMW 5 Series. Gorgeous car. $65,000. He was beaming with pride, and honestly, I was jealous. I was driving a 7-year-old Honda Civic that I bought used for $12,000. Fast forward 5 years, Mark's BMW, worth about $32,000. He lost $33,000 in value. Plus, he paid $8,500 in interest on his car loan. That's over $41,000 gone. My Honda, still worth $8,000. I lost $4,000, and I paid 0 interest because I bought it in cash. But here's where it gets insane. Mark had bought a reliable used car like mine and invested that $53,000 difference in an S&P 500 index fund. It would have grown to approximately $85,000 by now. He didn't just lose $41,000, he lost the opportunity to build real wealth. New cars lose 20 to 30% of their value the moment you drive them off the lot. In the first year alone, they depreciate about 20%. By year 5, most vehicles have lost 60% of their original value. You're literally burning money to impress people at red lights who don't care about you. When I quit buying new cars and switched to reliable used vehicles that were 3 to 5 years old, I immediately saved tens of thousands. Those savings went straight into my investment accounts. And that's when my net worth started actually growing instead of shrinking every time I needed transportation. Thing number 2, expensive coffee and daily takeout. I know. You've heard this one before. Stop buying lattes and you'll be rich. It sounds cliche, but let me tell you why this one actually matters, and it's not about the coffee itself. In 2019, I tracked my spending for 30 days. Every single purchase, the results shocked me. I was spending $8.50 every morning at Starbucks. It's not just on coffee. I'd grab a breakfast sandwich too. Then lunch was another $15 because I was too busy to pack anything. Afternoon snack run, another $6. That's $29.50 per day. Over a month, that was $590. Over a year, $7,080. Over a decade, $70,800. But wait, gets worse. If I had invested that $590 every month into a simple index fund, averaging 8% annual returns, in 10 years, I'd have over $108,000. In 20 years, over $344,000. The problem wasn't the coffee. The problem was that I had normalized wasting money on convenience. That $5 latte became the gateway to a why not mentality for every other small purchase. It was death by 1,000 paper cuts. I quit buying daily coffee and takeout. Instead, I invested in a $40 coffee maker and spent Sunday evening's meal prepping for the week. My monthly food costs dropped from $1,200 to $350. That $850 difference. Straight into investments. That single change put me on track to have an extra $400,000 by the time I retire. Thing number 3. Subscription services. I didn't use this one, is insidious because it's invisible. These charges hide in your bank statement like financial ninjas, stealing from you every single month while you're not paying attention. I had Netflix, Hulu, Disney+, HBO Max, Amazon Prime, Spotify Premium, and Apple Music. Yes, I had both Spotify and Apple Music. Don't ask me why. I also had a gym membership I hadn't used in 8 months. a meditation app I opened twice, and 3 different cloud storage services. When I finally sat down and added it all up, I was paying $347 per month for subscriptions. That's $4,164 per year. For services I barely used. Some I had completely forgotten existed until I saw them on my credit card statement. Here's what I did. I canceled everything for 1 month. Cold turkey. Then I only resubscribed to what I genuinely missed. Turned out, I only really needed 2 services. My subscription costs dropped to $34 per month. That extra $313 per month went into my brokerage account. Invested over 10 years at 8% returns. That's over $57,000. And here's the kicker, I didn't miss any of it. I actually started reading more books, spending more time outdoors, and I got more creative with free entertainment. Thing number 4, financing lifestyle upgrades. This is the big one, the wealth killer. The reason why people who make 6 figures still live paycheck to paycheck. When I got my first big raise at work, $15,000 annual increase, you immediately upgraded my apartment to a luxury building with amenities, bigger place, rooftop pool, fancy gym. My rent went from $1,400 to $2,400 per month. I also bought new furniture on a payment plan because I deserved it. And I upgraded my wardrobe because I needed to look the part of someone making more money. Within 6 months, my entire raise was gone. Actually, I was in a worse position because now I had furniture payments and my lifestyle required me to maintain this higher income just to break even. I was on what's called the hedonic treadmill, constantly running but never getting ahead. Then I read something that changed my perspective forever. Wealth is built not by what you earn, but by the gap between what you earn and what you spend. I moved back to a modest apartment, not a dump, but something reasonable at $1,500 per month. I sold the financed furniture and bought quality used pieces for cash. I stopped upgrading my lifestyle every time my income increased. Now, whenever I get a raise or a bonus, I pretend it doesn't exist. It goes straight into investments. This concept called paying yourself first has built more wealth for me than any other single strategy. If I had invested that $1,000 per month, I was wasting on lifestyle inflation from age 30 to 60. I'd retire with an additional $1.4 million. Yes, million. Thing number 5, impulse purchases and retail therapy. Bad day at work. I'd buy something online. Bored on a Sunday. Let's browse Amazon. Feeling stressed. Shopping spree. I was using purchases as emotional band-aids, and it was costing me a fortune. Research shows that the average American spends over $1,800 per year on impulse purchases. For me, it was closer to $4,000. Clothes I wore once, gadgets I didn't need, home decor that sat in boxes, books I never read, hobby equipment for hobbies I never started. I implemented a simple rule: the 30-day waiting period. If I wanted something that wasn't essential, I'd add it to a list and wait 30 days. If I still wanted it after a month and I could pay cash for it, I'd buy it. You know what happened? About 80% of the things on that list I completely forgot about. The desire passed. I realized I didn't actually want most of this stuff. I just wanted the dopamine hit from buying something. The purchases I did make after 30 days were intentional, valuable, and appreciated. And the money I saved from all those impulse purchases I avoided, about $3,200 per year, invested consistently. That's building toward another $150,000 over my working life. Thing number 6, premium brands when generic works just as well. I used to be a brand snob. Name brand cereal, premium paper towels, expensive cleaning products, designer labels for everything. I genuinely believed you get what you pay for, and cheap meant inferior. Then I started actually comparing. I did blind taste tests with generic versus name brand foods. I tested store brand cleaning products against the expensive ones. I compared the ingredients in name-brand medications versus generic. The truth: for about 70% of products, there was zero noticeable difference. Generic ibuprofen has the exact same active ingredient as Advil, but costs half as much. Store-brand aluminum foil works identically to Reynolds. Kirkland's signature products from Costco are often manufactured by the same companies that make the premium brands, just without the markup. I started buying generic for anything where quality was truly identical, and reserved premium purchases for things where the difference actually mattered. My grocery bills dropped by 30% immediately. That's about $200 per month or $2,400 per year. Invested over time, that's real money over $110,000 by retirement. Thing number 7. Paying for convenience I could easily do myself. This was the final piece of my transformation. I was paying for convenience everywhere. Oil changes instead of learning to do them myself. Pre-made salads instead of washing lettuce. Lawn service, house cleaning, handyman for simple repairs. Now, let me be clear. There's nothing wrong with paying for services, especially if your time is better spent earning money or if you genuinely can't do something yourself. But I was paying for convenience out of pure laziness, not strategic time management. I was spending about $650 per month on various convenience services, so I learned basic home and car maintenance through YouTube. I started doing my own simple repairs. I cleaned my own apartment. I meal prepped on Sundays. Did it take time? Yes, about 6 hours per week. But I saved $650 per month. That's $150 per week, or $25 per hour for my time. And I was learning valuable skills that saved me money for life. More importantly, that's $650 per month invested over 20 years. That's over $380,000 for doing things I was perfectly capable of doing myself. So let's add this up. Between these 7 categories, I was bleeding approximately $3,100 per month, or $37,200 per year. That money was just disappearing, vaporizing into lifestyle expenses that brought me zero lasting value. When I quit buying these things and redirected that money into index funds, retirement accounts, and eventually real estate, my net worth exploded. Not because I was making tons of money, but because I plugged the leaks in my financial ship. Here's what I want you to understand. Getting rich isn't about depriving yourself. It's about being intentional with your money. Every dollar you spend is a dollar that can't work for you, compound for you, or build wealth for you. Those 7 things I quit buying. I don't miss any of them, not one. But the financial freedom, the peace of mind, and the wealth I've built. That's changed my entire life. If you're serious about building wealth faster, look at your spending right now. Where are you bleeding money? What can you cut without actually sacrificing your quality of life? Make those cuts today and redirect that money toward your future. Your future self will thank you. If this video helped you, hit that like button, subscribe for more nonsense financial advice, and drop a comment telling me which of these 7 things you're going to quit buying first. I'll see you in the next one.